Granting, popularly known as Nana Agrada. The incident, captured on a video that has since gone viral, has attracted widespread condemnation. The minority accused Sammy Gyamfi of breaching several statutes and wants the president to crack the whip on his appointee. We will hear from the minority and several civil society actors shortly. First, though, here is a report capturing exactly what happened.
In the video, which has since gone viral, Sammy Gyamfi is first seen posing for a photo with Mama Pat, also known as Nana Agrada, and then proceeds to shake hands with a man standing next to them, then gets into his car. Mr. Gyamfi is shortly seen counting an undisclosed amount of dollar notes, giving her a portion. Mama Pat, standing by the door, asks for the whole sum in his hand, saying, "What will happen if you give the whole amount to me?" She proceeded to snag the notes, including the sum he wanted to keep. Sammy Gyamfi's car drove off after that. Agrada, visibly excited, left saying, "I've been able to take dollars from Sammy Gyamfi, who say woman no day," as the others followed, attempting to get some favors, saying, "Mommy, we are here. Mommy, let's share." This video has attracted varied reactions, especially from social media, condemning the actions of the Goldbod CEO. President of Imani Africa, Franklin Kojo, described the incident difficult as he believes that the amount involved exceeded the 20,000 Ghana cedis threshold the president tagged.
Well, the minority in parliament have become the latest group to wade into the controversy, demanding the sacking of Sammy Gyamfi or at least a suspension. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante joins in studio with some details. Kweku, let's start from the laws the NPP in parliament say Sammy Gyamfi has breached with his conduct.
So there are two of them mainly. That is the Foreign Exchange Act and the Currency Act. They say, per their reading and their understanding of the provisions of those two provisions, those two statutes that are still Ghanaian law, Sammy Gyamfi, as a public officer and even as a citizen, does not have the right to carry around such amount of dollars, let alone be transacting with it. And they say that carries with it offense, conviction, and they do not believe that Sammy Gyamfi should be let go. And so these are the offenses they believe Sammy Gyamfi has breached. They catalog them and explain their take on that.
Other financial and monetary laws have been challenged by the actions of Mr. Sammy Gyamfi. The Foreign Exchange Act 2006 Act 273 prescribes under Section 3, Clause 1 and 4, a person engaging in the business of dealing in foreign exchange without a license issued under this Act. In other words, the Foreign Exchange Act has prescribed anyone doing businesses with the United States dollar or any foreign currency without approval or license so granted under the Act. The business of dealing in foreign exchange includes the receipt or payment of foreign currency. The Bank of Ghana has constantly reminded us through various notices that pricing, advertising, receipting, or making payment for goods and services in foreign currency without authorization from the Bank of Ghana is illegal. The penalties for such violation includes a fine of up to 700 penalty units or a prison term of not more than 18 months or both. The Ghana cedi or the Ghanaian cedi is the only sole legal tender in Ghana. And for emphasis, let us repeat this. The Ghana cedi is the sole legal tender in Ghana. There is no justification whatsoever for keeping stacks of dollars because foreign exchange businesses and international payment are regulated under Section 16 and Section 15, which provides that, and I quote, each payment in foreign currency to or from Ghana between resident and non-resident or between non-residents shall be made to a bank. So if you have any payment to make, for which reason Mr. Sammy Gyamfi was holding United States dollars, stacks of dollars in his car or with him, he ought to have made said payment through the bank. The action of Mr. Sammy Gyamfi in keeping, spending, and circulating foreign currency is also an offense under Section 26 of the Currency Act. And for us, this Currency Act, 1964 Act, was promulgated for the purposes of ensuring that we do not pursue action that will lead to the deterioration of value of the Ghanaian cedi. And we put in place these financial and monetary laws for the purposes of safeguarding our economy and ensuring that our national sovereignty, because a country's sovereignty is also regulated by the currency. It defines the people. So any act you do that seeks to undermine your Ghanaian cedi is an offense under the Currency Act. And for choosing to spend in dollar in your economy, aside being against the Foreign Exchange Act, is also against the Currency Act.
All right, so that is the minority there. We also have on the line here, we'll be speaking to him, Ralph Poku-Edusa. He's MP of Bekwa, and he was part of those who organized this presser. Honorable, I'm grateful to you for joining.
Good evening to you and good evening to your listeners.
Great.
Thank you for calling me on your show.
Great. Do hold the line for me just before I come to you, Kweku. They are calling for severe sanctions, including a dismissal by the minority. Why are they making this call?
Yes, they are not really enthused about what they say the lack of action by the president on this matter. They believe that up until now, the president should have acted decisively, dismissing Sammy Gyamfi from office, or at least suspending him for some sort of investigations to go on in this matter.
The president has clearly told the good people of Ghana that, just recently, about a week ago, that if you violate his old code of conduct, you are going to feel sanctioned. By now, we should have seen a letter being issued dismissing Mr. Sammy or suspending him pending further investigation. This is only the right thing to do. The immediate sanctioning of Mr. Sammy Gyamfi as acting CEO of the Ghana Goldbod. Clearly, it is an affront on the code of conduct. It is against the Foreign Exchange Act. It is against the Currency Act of the country. And even though the Chief of Staff mentioned that ignorance of the law is not an excuse, Mr. Gyamfi is never ignorant of the law. He's a lawyer of repute and understands clearly the action and the consequences of the action. So he ought to take responsibility for same. Secondly, we are calling for a full-scale investigation into the source of the dollar bundle displayed in the viral video. Where did he get the dollar from? Ordinary Ghanaian cannot go to the bank and request, even if you have a dollar account. You must demonstrate transaction. You must demonstrate that you are traveling out of the country in order for them to even allow you access your own dollar. So we need a full-scale investigation into the source of the dollar bundle display in that viral video. 3, we expect an apology from the president to the good people of Ghana for the insult this act represents to those suffering under this suffering economy. Let it not be said that this parliament was silent in the face of such brazenness. We will not look on while public officers will not look on while public office is desecrated and the Ghanaian people reduced to beggars in their own country. The NDC may wish to shrug this off as a personal error, which they have already started. But we are not buying that. Sammy Gyamfi represents the government. Aside being the spokesperson for the ruling party, he is a senior government official.
So that's the minority there. Now, civil society actors are also calling on the president to act tough, but are falling short of calling for outright dismissal. CDD fellow Dr. John Asaikopon says the president must suspend the Goldbod CEO as a disciplinary measure. Meanwhile, Executive Director for the Ghana Integrity Initiative, Mary Ada, and anti-graft campaigner Vitus Azim are pushing for a probe into the money source and possible sanctions.
When you are in public office, you have to even pay more attention to the way things look, because that is where you even end up losing a lot more goodwill and trust. So my thing is, I'm glad that the Chief of Staff has summoned him. I'm glad that he apologized. There's a code of conduct in place. Whatever the appropriate sanctions are, I just hope that the president will demonstrate, swiftness in dealing with this in terms of applying the appropriate sanction, so that at least he can show that, look, this code of conduct that we have instituted, it's a policy that we intend to reinforce.
You speak of appropriate sanctions. What would be appropriate from where you sit?
Appropriate at most suspension.
At most?
Yes.
Suspension?
Yes, at
most?
Yes.
Worst case scenario?
Worst case scenario, yes.
So those who are saying he should be sacked and the rest, what do you say to them?
No.
So whatever it is that the president can do to use as a deterrent for future occurrences, I believe the president should. It could be a public reprimand, which is good enough. He apologizing is also fine. It could be even a suspension for a number of days. Or it could be for the president to know where he got all that money from and why he was sharing it like that. That's very important for all of us.
So some of these things, it requires very quick investigations for him to be able to take an action to see whether there's any cause of concern or not, and to come out and tell Ghanaians what he has found and whether he has started to take action or not. And that's what the president should do. For now, it's a bit difficult to just say what the president should do. The president needs to look into it further to find out whether there's a basis for some disciplinary action or not.
All right, let's bring in Raf Pokun Eduse. He's MP for Bekwai, and he addressed our news conference with Dr. Kabir Muhammad. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining here. Now, I mean, I've been reading that particular law here and about the Foreign Exchange Act 2006. Is that what you are referring to, or there's an amendment that has been done?
We are making reference to the act that you just made reference to, the Foreign Exchange Act.
Okay. Now, if you look at Section 20, it says imposition of temporary restrictions. One, where the governor determines that a country is experiencing or has experienced a severe deterioration in its balance of payment that requires the temporary imposition of exchange controls beyond measures provided for in Section 17, 18, and 19. The governor, in consultation with the minister, may by notice make rules to restrict, and what we are interested in is the C, the acquisition, holding, and use in the country of foreign currency or travelers' checks by persons including residents. 2, it says the rule shall remain in force for a period of not more than 3 months. Have we had a recent rule like that you claim Sammy Gyamfi had contravened?
So clearly, when you're referring to an act, you need to look at it as a whole.
Okay.
You understand? First
right.
of all, refer to the act itself, the Section 3. Section 3 generally deals with possession of foreign currencies. So it is on this premise that you now have to look at the sections that you are referring to.
Okay.
Fundamentally, possession of foreign currency in these circumstances clearly violates the law. And the act is quite clear when you look at it. So yes, I agree with the point you are making, but that is in a special case where you are actually making reference to non-existence or non-existence of a directive from the Bank of Ghana or the governor for that matter. But the sections that we have made reference to, when you look at Section 3 and 1, persons engaging in the business of dealing in foreign exchange without license, what we are saying is that being in possession of this foreign currency, is he a licensed person to deal with foreign currency? The answer is going to be no. And this press conference is premised on that basis. So let us take it away from you can't possess a dollar. You can have a region where you have a dollar. But what we are saying is a different thing here. Look at dealing or doing business in foreign exchange. In this case, Sammy Gyamfi having loads of cash and dollars in his vehicle and doing some out is what we are talking about.
So you, by your understanding, Sammy was dealing in the business of foreign exchange. Is that it?
Besides, otherwise, what is the dollars doing on him? It is not a legal tender in our country. So what are you doing with the dollars? It's as simple as you are in possession of it. So what are you dealing with it if you're not dealing with the dollars? Because you can't use the dollars to buy food in Ghana here. It's prohibited under the laws. So what we are saying is, let's not take it out of context. What was the dollars doing on him? And does he have the license to possess it?
I mean, but...
These are the questions that you have to ask. Very simple question.
Well, but I mean, when you look at the section 20 of that particular act you refer to, which of course refers to individuals holding, foreign exchange, that is where it says the Bank of Ghana governor, in consultation with the minister, will issue, a notice to restrict persons from holding that. By the video we've all seen, is it not a stretch to say he was engaging in the business of transacting in foreign exchange?
Not at all. Simply because, are you also going to say that, or are you also saying that in absence of a directive from the governor of Bank of Ghana, you are entitled to possess the dollars?
Well, because the framers of the law themselves said in section 20 subsection 3 that despite section 2, the governor in consultation with the minister may extend the time frame designated for the operation of the rules for a period of not more than 3 months, and for any subsequent period that the governor in consultation with the minister may determine. In absence of such a rule, can we say that Sammy has contravened any law?
Precisely, yes, because section 3.1 and 3.4, they are not to be read in conjunction or in connection with this provision you are making. They stand on their own. So look at the sections that we have made reference to, and get the import of it. And you realize that he is dealing in dollars or doing business or transactions in dollars, and therefore is caught by this act. And clearly he has contravened the law, and he must face the full rigors of the law. It's as simple as. It's not about the law.
Okay.
Let me put it clearly. What we are saying is, nobody is after Sammy. What we are saying is that an offense has been committed. It is important that the president invite an investigation into the matter. And if he's found culpable, let the law be applied to him, just as it will apply to any other person in Ghana.
Okay.
We do not have anything against Sammy. But if indeed, after the findings, there's going to be an established offense that he has committed, then he should be made to face the law. Because, excuse me, you wouldn't say that somebody has come to apologize after committing an armed robbery, and it should be that he has apologized, so we should leave the matter to him. In the same vein that we don't expect that somebody will possess in this hardship, somebody will possess so much dollars, and somebody will ask for petrol, and then you will give him our dollars, and it be countenance. It shouldn't be encouraged. Let me tell you why this is even more dangerous, that the government should not let it slide. How old is the Goldbod? Let's ask ourselves that question. It's less than 6 months old. How much has been allocated to the Goldbod per the first budget that was read? $279 million. And look at this. You have the CEO 4 months after coming and displaying dollars of gifts, and it should be taken lightly. No, this is a special case. And it has to be given the right approach.
Well,
in dealing with it.
Okay. We've heard that the chief of staff invited him over this incident. Will your group be, find it enough if he is publicly reprimanded by the presidency?
Not at all. The president is not responsible for dealing with an offences in this country. It is the police. What we expected was the matter to be referred to the police so that he is invited by the police, or at least the national security. We are talking about an offense that has been committed. Since when the chief of staff become the investigators in criminal offences in this country? I mean, let us face the fact. This has never happened. Somebody has committed an offense, and we are expecting that by inviting the person to the Flagstaff House, the person should apologize to the general public, and the matter is dead. Is that what we want to preach? And is that the precedent we want to set? Okay. No. You commit an offense. In Ghana, every offense is defined in the statute, and they come with it an accompanying punishment. And if you are found guilty of the offense and convicted, you face the consequences. The punishment that comes with it, you face it. So all that we are saying is that we agree in the Constitution he has his right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. Fine. But for now, let them commission and investigations into the matter, and let us see whether or not he's guilty of the offense we are complaining of. And if he's guilty, let the law take its course. It's as simple as that.
If the presidency fails to act, will you be willing to take any steps in Parliament on this issue?
We were very clear in our press conference today that we will not leave any stone unturned in dealing with this matter. We will take it wherever we have to take it to ensure that everybody stays equal before the law. We won't say that you're in government, so therefore you go and display dollars when you don't have the basis or legal basis to do it, and because of your affiliations with the government, you should go scot-free. We won't accept that. We are all here. We have all been in this country. We have just seen a rise in our cedi against the dollar. Everybody is commending the country and the leaders. The president of the realm comes just about 3-4 days ago, outline a whole lengthy, a very comprehensive code of conduct. And the next minute, you have an appointee doing the very thing that this code of conduct is prohibited. And you feel it's not enough for the government to take it up. It's a test case for the president, if he cares to know, because this is just about 1 week old. Let us see what you did when it was even fresh on your mind.
Okay, I'm grateful to you.
We're waiting for that.
I'm grateful to you, Raf Poku Edusei, for joining us here. He is MP for Bekwai here. Mustafa Gbande is Deputy Director of Operations at the Presidency. Mustafa, grateful for joining here. I mean, we know that today we understand the Chief of Staff invited Sammy. What do we know? What happened?
I told you that when you want to talk to me, speak to me as a Deputy General Secretary, because MP is my colleague National Executive. And of course, I have interest in this matter. Anyway,
but let's have your viewpoint. Answer the question for me.
Yeah, I have heard so. But the most important thing is that at the point when Sammy Gyamfi was giving this said woman the gift, all right, if you analyze the video clearly, you see that it was an act of good faith, a gesture in good faith. But we've all spoken about the times we find ourselves, the difficulties we face, the fact that we have a very conscious party support base that will not want to see the government fail, that will not want to see government appointees fail, that will not want to compare ourselves any day to the standard, the low standard the MPP and President Akufo offered us. That is why you see the applause from even our party base to say that, well, there's no criminality in that, but it shouldn't have in the first place. But great. Are we in government and we are serving the country with a belief that we will not make mistakes? The most difficult thing of any leader is to make a mistake and appreciate that you have made a mistake, come out and apologize to your followers.
They've referred to the act to say, well, he has done something that contravenes the act and the laws must work. You don't agree to that position?
Let me tell you, when we came to power, for the first time within 3 months, Sammy Gyamfi alone and his team through the Ministry of Finance have worked assiduously to create a Goldbod that today all Ghanaians are benefiting from. Because if the Goldbod and gold trade has any relationship with how much the dollar is falling, then as a nation we need to commend that young man. Number two, if you have given this if you say press conference today, they will go and consult Ochihene in Chedi before
but Bande, you say he has to be commended, but in the past you have accused people of engaging in similar act which then didn't help the city. Isn't it the same that with this, if it is encouraged, it will inure to the disadvantage of the Ghanaian city, and therefore some measures have to be put in place to deal with this?
people who have hoarded millions of dollars under their bed. We have said that. That is why you've seen the uproar from many of our party foot soldiers and colleagues who believe that no, Sammy Gyamfi of all people shouldn't have done that. The individual involved appreciated, even though he had sought to give a good gesture, it didn't sit well, it was inappropriate as described. He comes out and takes responsibility of same.
Okay, I'm grateful to you. I'm grateful to you. Let me bring in Adam Senano. Adam, how should the presidency be dealing with this issue?
I don't see that Mr. Sammy Gyamfi has breached any law or any policy. I think it's not just a stretch, it's absolutely ludicrous for anyone to suggest that in giving Gadrada money, he was engaged in business. Business is for profit. Was this a loss-making business or what was it? Let's not have people stretching this issue. I think substantive would be for the president to establish whether the source of this money is something that is legitimate and doesn't breach any laws of the land. Sammy being a lawyer, I don't know what they were talking about. I have a dollar account. I cash dollars. I change it to dollars depending on what I want to do. It's not strange to have dollars. We don't even know what denominations he was holding. And as you can see from the clip, he didn't attempt to give her, or he was trying to give her a portion and then she snatched the rest. So how can that be a business? I think that the president should caution him, and all our appointees should be made to note that, you see, moving from private personal business to a public office means that now whatever you do must be in the name of the people and for the welfare of the people, and you are exposed to public scrutiny with everything you do. And so you need to be circumspect, you need to be measured, you need to be modest in what you do, and I think that a caution should be sufficient.
I'm grateful to you, Adam Senano. This has been Top Story, brought to you by Telecel Connecting Energies. Up next is Newsnight.
Tonight, is there a presidential vacuum as the MPP minority sound alarm over the absence of the president, the vice, and the speaker, with no evidence that the acting Chief Justice had been sworn in as acting president?
We don't even know where the president is. We don't even know where the vice president is. We don't even know where the speaker is. Clearly, this country is without leadership because the Constitution provides that in the absence of the president, the vice president, in the absence of both the speaker, right? In the absence of the speaker, the Chief Justice, we don't have Chief Justice.
We tell you what we know. Also tonight, spare parts and imported goods prices unlikely to drop soon as Ghana Union of Traders Association GUTA members reject appeals for price reduction despite cedi's recent stability against the dollar. The traders insist it's too early to cut prices.
It's good though, but we can't reduce our goods. But the goods we have now is something we have already bought them.
Because the depression of the dollar, no, that one it can't be possible.
I think we have to do away with these goods, and when we go in for new goods, it's then that we'll be able to.
We'll tell you about the trade minister's intervention.
I have since called the president of GUTA for a meeting with the other trade associations. In Ghana, we don't control prices, and so government cannot push price reduction on them.
Also tonight in Suama, Drejuri MP Frank Anodompre held hostage during a heated confirmation process for Municipal Chief Executive nominee.
He won the MP seat and they maneuvered to take away from him. They went to court, the court threw the case away. Now the president has nominated him to become the MC of the Suama Drejuri.
We have details as the MP's attempt to assert his role was met with resistance from the NDC in business.
Tullow Oil resumes gas supplies to a trouble plant after a brief shutdown since Friday. And in sports, Ghana crash out of ongoing under-20 AFCON in a penalty shootout defeat to Egypt, ending hopes of FIFA World Cup qualification.
You want to join us with your views and comments all here on Newsnight 05511119997. Details after this.
See, I beg, fix me go betete Ghana. No gari, no oil, no plantain, just beans then eggs.
Hey, brah, that be dangerous combination, no?
Problem no day. I feel handle am.
For Telecel, with the Bob say everybody gets what they like. That be why Made For Me bundles day. Based on your usage, you fit get your own data and call packages. Fala! Made For Me bundles like the way you the want them. That *530#, then buy Made For Me bundles today.
Telecel. Connecting energies.
Brush your teeth every day and night. Up and down and all around. Brush the clean and bright. Brush your teeth. Brush with mom and dad. Underneath and in between. Brush the germs away.
Pepsodent. Cavity protection.
This
advert is FDA approved.
You're live here on Newsnight. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. The MPP minority is tonight sounding the alarm about what they call a presidential vacuum that they claim has left the country without a president, acting or substantive. As of this morning, President John Mahama was in Togo. The Vice President is still on sick leave. The Speaker of Parliament, we understand, is also out of the jurisdiction. Minority member on the Finance Committee, Dr. Tia Kabiru, says the country is tonight without leadership, although it isn't yet clear if the acting Chief Justice had been formally sworn in to act as president.
In all this discussion, we don't even know where the president is. We don't even know where the vice president is. We don't even know where the speaker is.
Of course, you know where the president is in Togo as of this morning. The vice president is still on medical leave in the United Kingdom. The Speaker of Parliament, it's unclear for me where he is, but the president we know is in
clearly
trouble.
This country is without leadership because the Constitution provides that in the absence of the president, the vice president, in the absence of both the speaker, right? In the absence of the speaker, the chief justice, we don't have chief justice. As to whether acting chief justice can be acting president, it's even an issue. So
as a member of parliament, we are not aware of any kind of transfer of power in the absence of the president.
The president has not communicated to members of parliament. He might have communicated to the speaker, and the speaker has the responsibility of informing members of parliament.
But are you aware whether there's been any kind of a temporary swearing-in ceremony in the absence of the president?
I'm not aware of any of such. And if anyone is aware, they should educate us, right? But these are issues that I will defer. But it's something that we must be worried that the president and the vice president and the speaker can just get up and leave the country and leave everyone wondering where we are when the Constitution provides that when someone is not there, this person should be sworn in to take these duties.
The law says that in the absence of the president, the vice president should act. The vice president, as we know as of now, is still on medical leave in the United Kingdom. In the absence of the vice president, is the Speaker of Parliament. Well, as far as I know, we are not privy to any kind of a swearing-in ceremony as demanded by the Supreme Court. And then in the absence of the Speaker of Parliament, it is the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice on suspension, the acting is still in office. But nothing official as far as the change of command is concerned.
Yeah, I hold the view that acting Chief Justice is not the Chief Justice. And he cannot be made to superintend over the country. It's an issue for constitutional interpretation. Maybe someone will have to invoke that and ask for clarity, right? I know Kukaza had cause or someone had a cause about the swearing in, whether the person must necessarily be swearing in. There must necessarily be some swearing in. The Supreme Court actually had the ruling that, yes, it must necessarily be sworn in. It cannot be by way of, by default, once the person is not there, the person acts. So we have jurisprudence, we have precedence, guidance of this. But when both or the three of them are not there, and we have acting Chief Justice, it's a constitutional.
You think it creates a vacuum?
Clearly, if there's a decision to take, even though there are other people who hold the view that if the president is not physical within the president,
he can still conduct his business.
Yeah, but
because of technology.
But the court disagrees with that. The court disagrees with that.
He must be physically present in the country.
He must be physical.
Once you are out of the jurisdiction.
Once you are out of the jurisdiction, you are not the president so-called, proper so-called. There must at all point in time be someone physical president within the jurisdiction of Ghana, right? That's what the Supreme Court decided on. So the president doing wireless meetings, doing online meetings, or asking the chief. That is not the president within the country. It is a president at large. Okay, and it's an issue that people, I mean, the lawyers and then the constitutional experts should be asking.
But is the minority taking any keen interest in this matter?
Yes, I'm privy to some discussion. Some minority members, especially those within the constitutional and legal affairs committees, are raising that we are not hearing anything. Is it the case that it's a country that we say no one can decide to do anything? Maybe they will come out once we begin to broach discussion. The president, in the interest of the nation, the communication director should put to bear the arrangement so that everyone will know that this was what was done. This is the arrangement. This is the person in charge, so that we all know that Mr. Bafo-Boni is the president acting. Then we'll know.
And that is Tia Kabiru speaking to us a short while ago on the subject of the whereabouts of the president and whether or not we have an acting president in place, or this country is operating without leadership. And there are a few things that we know tonight, and my colleague, parliamentary correspondent, Kweku Asante, joins me in the studio with more on this. Kweku, so let's start with the president. Where is the president?
We know that the president was in the United Kingdom before the end of last week. He did go to visit his vice president, Professor Nana Ajinopoku-Agyeman. As of this morning, the president was in Togo, where he has been attending a high-level forum of the African Union, and he actually delivered a speech there. Our understanding is that the president will actually move to the Côte d'Ivoire for some further bilateral talks and other issues tomorrow, and so the president is not set to return. At least between today and tomorrow, the president will not be there. And if you read the Constitution, Article 60, it says whenever the president is absent from Ghana or is for any other reason unable to perform the functions of his office, the vice president shall perform those functions. The vice president shall, before commencing to perform those functions, subscribe to the oath. And then it goes on and on that where the vice president also not around, it will be the speaker and up to the chief justice. We know that for the last 2 months, the vice president, of course, all of us know she has not been around. She's in the United Kingdom. The speaker of parliament last week was in the country, but this afternoon we have confirmed that the speaker of parliament has also traveled out of the country.
Okay, so the first three
are all not around.
As we speak tonight, yes, they're not in Ghana. They're not in the jurisdiction.
Exactly. In fact, there were those who were asking questions that since the president had traveled, and even at the time the speaker was around, had there been a swearing in of the Speaker of Parliament to perform the functions of the president? Because we know that in the Doha Jaho case, the Supreme Court was clear that even if the Speaker of Parliament has to act, he has to subscribe to the oath of the presidency before he can act. The Speaker of Parliament was in town, but as of this morning, the confirmation is that the Speaker of Parliament is also currently not in Ghana as we speak. That will mean that the baton shifts to the next in line, which is the acting Chief Justice, Paul Bafo-Boni. It is not yet clear if Bafo-Boni has taken the oath of the president to act in this temporal time, while the president, vice, and speaker are all not around. We do not know that for a fact, but the president, the vice president, the speaker of parliament are all not currently in Ghana.
So the only unknown tonight is whether or not the acting chief justice has officially been sworn in to act as president. That hasn't been communicated. We've been checking ourselves. There is no clarity on that particular matter, whether that has happened. And if indeed he hasn't been sworn in, then it raises constitutional questions whether indeed, as the minority is alleging tonight, there isn't leadership for this particular country. And if he's been sworn in, there is a subsequent question. Can an acting chief justice act as president? Yeah. Interesting constitutional questions. I want to bring in Professor Kojo Pejutia, Associate Professor, School of Law, University of Ghana, joins us on the line right now. Prof, I'm grateful for your time here on News Night. So the only unknown tonight, we know that the president is out. We know the vice is out. We know the speaker is out. The only unknown tonight is whether or not the acting Chief Justice has been sworn in to act as president. Does it raise any fundamental questions for you where we are tonight?
Thanks for having me, Evans. Yes, it does. It does raise serious constitutional issues as well as governance issues. As Article 60 of our Constitution says, in line of succession, if you like, when the president is not in, the vice president takes over. In the absence of the vice president, is the speaker. And the absence of the speaker or the president, the vice, and the speaker not being there,
then it shifts to the Chief Justice. So here we have a scenario where the three are not in the country, and therefore, according to the constitutional provisions, it is the Chief Justice that should assume the position of President.
So you asked the question, the lack of communications that we now have, there's a vacuum one when it comes to the communication about what really has happened. Should that be an integral part of this process for the sake of transparency?
Definitely, because you don't know what will happen in the next second or the next minute. As things stand, the presidency has created a lack of communication, and that is a serious governance issue, because as we speak, if something should happen and the president has to act, according to the constitution, the president has to be physically present in the country. Of course, there are certain things the president can do while outside the country, and probably that is one thing that the constitution should be clear about, and something that maybe the Constitutional Review Commission should look at. Because there are certain things that the president can do while outside the country, and therefore he should still be deemed to be the president. But according to the constitution as we have it today, if he's out of the country, he's no more serving as the president. And so there should be communication about that. And so even in the case of the speaker, when the president was not in, and we know that the vice president is also not in, he should have been sworn into office. And when he was leaving, measures should have also been taken for him to hand over to the Chief Justice. And the Chief Justice would then have been sworn in by the most senior of the justices at the Supreme Court. And that should have been a clear situation where steps have been taken to fill all the gaps. And therefore, the current president should be the acting Chief Justice.
Should the swearing-ins, should they have been public, such as we would have seen the speaker, the time that the president was leaving the jurisdiction, actually sworn in? Or should they simply have been by way of communication to us that he has been sworn in? What's the best practice?
The best practice is for the Chief Justice in this case to have been sworn in publicly, so that we all know that this is the Chief Justice now acting as the president.
Can an acting Chief Justice act as president?
Definitely. According to the Constitution now, he is acting as the Chief Justice. And so we don't have any other Chief Justice apart from him acting as the Chief Justice. So he holds that power. If there is no situation where that responsibility can be given to anybody else, it is he acting as the Chief Justice. And so in that respect, he qualifies constitutionally to assume that position.
Thank you very much, Prof. That's there, Professor Kojo Appointee, Associate Professor in University of Ghana School of Law, talking to us about the minorities' concerns tonight, that there may be a presidential vacuum because we know the president is out of the jurisdiction, the vice is also out of the jurisdiction, and also we know that the speaker is out of the jurisdiction tonight. We don't know if indeed the acting Chief Justice has been sworn in just yet. This is something we're keeping a close eye on. We'll update you as and when we get further clarity. We're checking with Jubilee House to get clarity on whether or not the acting Chief Justice has been sworn in, considering that the president himself is out. All first three are out of the jurisdiction. Stay with us on that. As and when we get further clarity, we'll update you before we end news night. But in the meantime, there's tension brewing tonight. In fact, erupted at the Nsoamadrejuri Municipal Assembly during the confirmation process for the municipal chief executive nominee. MP Frank Anodompre was held hostage after attempting to assert his role, sparking resistance from the NDC regional executives led by Dr. Mark Oliver Kevo. The incident follows reports that Anodompre had vowed to block Salom's confirmation, who previously challenged him in the 2024 parliamentary elections. I want to bring in our regional correspondent who joins us on the line right now, Kofi Siao, with the very latest. Kofi, what really happened?
Okay, so in the morning when we got there, we had information that the side of the MP had the view that they want to approve nominee, the president's nominee. So the regional minister and the regional chairman, together with the regional security, stormed there with a lot of police officers. I could count about 50 of them, and they were to ensure that the process was smooth. So when the process started, everything went on well until the counting began, or until the voting ended, when the police formed a barricade around the ballot box. The idea was that they wouldn't want people to come close to it so that they could tamper with the counting and the other process. So the MP, however, says that that is not how it's supposed to be. So he resisted and insisted that he's made a polling agent. But the national security officer said that that is not how it's supposed to be. So they prevented him from getting close to where the counting was taking place. And that, resulted in a lot of, exchanges, a lot of heated, arguments until the Electoral Commission counted the votes. So after they counted it, the supporters who were outside the place, were also, confronting each other. And when the result was declared and Anodompre was about to leave the place, they started, chasing him. So the police whisked him away to the NADMO office in the same building.
And Anodompre's case, you mentioned that he was held hostage. How long did this happen and where exactly?
Okay, so the assembly hall where the election itself took place, it's inside the main building of the district assembly. And where he was taken to is close to the place where they voted. So it's about, let's say, a 50-meter distance from the assembly hall to the NADMO office where he was kept.
And who kept him there? Hello, Kofi.
Hello, Evan.
Who kept him there?
The police whisked him away to the place.
I've got a bit of the sense of what really happened there when captured in the sounds from the chaos that ensued. Listen.
Because Dompe has been doing this opposing thing for the past 8 years. The last election he went boot to boot with us. Already he was leading the NDC in this constituency with a margin of more than 1,000. And then someone closer to 3,000. This year he even claimed he won. It was 3,000 that he claimed he won 4 years ago. And even this recent election, after the collation at the head office, he said he won with just 207 votes. And so from all indications, you could see that Salom has been performing. And he knows what Salom can do. So he always wants to show himself, make sure you make him unpopular, but we will never allow that to happen. So we expect a lot from Salom. For now, we will stay low for him. We know what he can do. When he came to the constituency, the NDC at the level was low, but he was able to mobilize the whole constituency to go behind him. And so we know by that effort, if we put a little bit effort in our road infrastructure, our hospitals, our schools, we know he will do a lot. We have a lot of hope in him, and we know that the resetting agenda is in him, and he will deliver for us. My name is Ismail Salama Ferry.
I want to bring in Dr. Mark Oliver Kevo, is the Eastern Regional Chair of the NDC, joins us on the line right now. Dr. Kevo, thanks for your time here on Newsnight.
Thank you, Evans.
Has this been resolved now? You have a nominee who has now been confirmed?
No, so far, in all the 21 MMDs, we have attempted to confirm the nominees. All of them have been confirmed.
All confirmed, including the Fumi Salom?
Yes. Fumisalom has also been confirmed today.
So what we
do? We have 33 metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies in the eastern region. Out of that, 21 of them have been confirmed so far.
What was the issue? What was the hold-up today? I understand that Anodon Prayer was at the heart of things, and you resisted his attempt to assert his role in this whole process.
Well, the process has been very seamless and peaceful across the region. I'm sure, but for this particular incident, not many have even followed this particular process because it has been very seamless, very, very quiet, and very peaceful, with a number of places securing 100% for the nominees. For example, in Kwaru East, Atiwa West, Atianse, Suhum, Krobo, New Gyamfi, we have endorsed the president's nominee with 100% confirmation. Now, in the case of Nsawadu, where the nominee secured 29 out of 42 votes, the MP elected himself to be an agent for no. It's a yes or no vote. And the standard practice is that doing sorting and counting, there's an agent, that is the nominee's agent, that will be observing the process. And an agent, which is normally an assembly member selected by the assembly, usually the presiding member or a person appointed by the presiding member, who will also witness on behalf of the assembly. In this particular case, the MP decided to assume the role of a no agent, which, introduced some confusion at the venue. Nonetheless, the situation was managed calmly. The MP was provided with the necessary police protection and was peacefully escorted out after the final declaration and swearing in of the confirmed nominee.
The rest of the nominees for the Eastern region, when do you hope to have them considered and
confirmed? Yeah, we are continuing tomorrow from Brim North, that is at Brim. We'll go through Afuanse, Irebi, then to Akroso, Asane, Manso, and then we'll end at Asamankesi tomorrow. Then we'll follow the next day.
Dr. Mark Oliver Kevo, thank you very much. He's Senior Regional Chair of the NDC. And I know many of you have been watching the CD Miracle as it performs wonders against the US dollars. Now, the demand is reduction in prices. Now, traders are, however, tonight rejecting the public calls to reduce the prices of spare parts and imported goods, despite the Ghanaian cedi's recent rebound against the US dollar. After dropping to over 16 cedis to the dollar 4 months ago, the cedi now trades at around 13 cedis. Consumers in Kumasi are demanding price adjustments, accusing businesses of profiteering from the past crisis while ignoring the current stability.
The of the cedi is very good. It's good for the economy. Obviously, imports will be cheaper, and we're expecting that prices will start coming down. However, the traders are not obliging, and it's something that we think the government has to work on.
If the dollar is now depreciated, by all means, the prices must go down, so everybody can buy anything that you want.
Saturday, I'm a fan.
I went to stock items this Saturday and prices remain the same. But when prices increase today, they will increase their prices too. Some people even increase it without going to the stock market because they believe it will increase by the time they go there.
Old price nana.
We still buy some stuff at the old price, but at the end of the month, we are hopeful that it will reflect in prices.
Well, in Accra, some consumers who went to the market today are unhappy. Price of goods remain unchanged.
I think that it's a very good idea for them to reduce the prices of goods and services, because the system is hard. Things are really hard for us. And so if we thank God that the finance minister is also doing well, the dollar has really come down. The cedi is gaining weight. And so I don't see why most of them don't want to reduce the prices of the goods and services for us to be able to purchase and then enjoy.
We expect that the prices will come down. Do you understand? We are expecting that once the dollar has come down, we also expect that when we come to the market to buy the items, we expect that the prices will come down. It's not much. They have not reduced the prices. So in fact, Guta have to come, sit with them. I mean, they should also come down with the prices. I don't know why the prices is still the same as it is. So we are expecting that the prices will come down.
I'm excited because when goods goes up, it affects all of us. So traders usually complain based on the dollar rate. Since dollar rate is down, I think it's good, or it will be best if they also reduce their prices for all of us to be okay.
Well, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, they have in a statement directed their members to reduce prices. We went to Bosokai and parts of the Greater Accra region to gauge if indeed the traders have reduced prices. Well, at Bosokai, spare parts dealers say they cannot reduce the prices just yet.
I pray they made us. It's good though, but we can't reduce our goods. But the goods we have now is something we have already bought them in stock already. So we can't reduce it due to the appeal they have made. And the dollar issue now is not from the government. We know the whole global market, what's happening now. From China to America to Russia, a whole lot. So that's why we are receiving this current dollar rate. But maybe within some short time, our dollar will go up. What are we going to do when we reduce the goods? And I'm going to buy a new one. What should I do? Automatically, I'm going to lose a lot of money. So you have to hold on for some time being. If you are able to manage this dollar for about 6, 7 months, 8 months.
Oh, you cannot use your opinion to change somebody's business. Actually, we took goods on the high prices. So you need to sell it to get your profit. That is business. So you cannot go for goods at high prices and come and sell it at lower prices just because the depression of the dollar. No, that one it can't be possible. Oh yes, you need to reduce the prices, but not now, because we have some goods that we pack for so many days or like some months that we pay with a higher dollar. So we cannot use the depression of that small, let's say a week, to just like finalize that. Or because the dollar is depressed, we can like probably reduce the thing. Stable for 2 months. Let's say we can give a range of 1 year. Down 1 year, you can see that it's true that the depression is permanent or reducing now. But 2 months, 1 month, it's not going to work like that.
Like it is possible for us to do so, but the goods that we are having presently were purchased so many months ago, and it was very, very high. The price was very, very high. As such, I think we have to do away with these goods, and when we go in for new goods, it's then that we will be able to reduce the price. If we say we are going to reduce the price now, it is going to affect us. Why? Because we will lose. When we lose our money, how can we go there to go and bring more goods? So I will say, let us wait for a while.
Well, George is joining me for more analysis on this, but we were also at the Opera Square, and the story was the same. The traders there, they acknowledged that the prices have indeed, the city's performing wonders, and it's a bit of a good scenario for them, but not yet when it comes to price reductions. We're now hearing from government. The Trade Minister, Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjari, says while government cannot legally compel traders to lower prices, the current strength of the city makes it only fair for consumers to benefit.
I have since called the president of Guta. I work closely with them for a meeting with the other trade associations. We all know that in Ghana, we don't control prices. And so government cannot really push price reduction on them. But because we work together, we can always discuss and see how the stable city will benefit both consumers and traders. And that is only fair, because there have been times that the dollar has gone up and traders have increased their prices. So if the dollar is this stable and has appreciated this much, I think that we need to regroup and see the way forward. I also commend Guta for even taking the step to prevail on the traders to reduce the cost of their goods. And so I think that at that meeting, we will brainstorm and come to a very good conclusion, which will benefit both traders and then consumers. But I've heard one argument which says that they bought the things already, but I think that we can discuss. They can take advantage and buy some at this time as the dollar is low, put it together, find the averages. I'm sure at the meeting it will be very useful, the discussion that we'll have. GUTA is ready to sit with the traders and other trade associations to ensure that at least all our customers also benefit from the stable environment that we are in. And now, because there is dollar in the system, you can buy dollar at a good rate. Now the business community have confidence in the government. The finance ministry is doing well, gold is doing great, the Goldbod is doing well. They are posting the export and the money they are bringing in because of the investor confidence. People are not taking away their dollar. And you see the business environment generally is good. And if government has been able to achieve this, I'm sure that it is good that everybody in the country benefit from it. And so we'll continue to engage GUTA and the trade association to ensure that they see reason to make sure that we all benefit from the business environment that Excellency John Dramani Mahama and Ghanaians have created.
Thankfully, we can speak to the president of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obeng, joins us right now. Doc, you ask your members to reduce prices. They say they won't do so. What do you plan to do about it?
They are not saying they won't do so. They are saying that they are challenged. And that is true also. But the advice we are giving is that we are in a competitive market. And whether somebody bought it higher or somebody bought it low, the market forces will determine the price. Nobody can overprice himself or herself out of the market. The business that we do with our consuming public. We don't do this business in isolation. When the consumer is challenged with high prices, he is unable to patronize our wares. And that's why turnover is curtailed. Our business thrives on turnover, and we need to do to enhance on turnover with our consumers. And that's why it is necessary that when we have gains, such as the one that we are having now, it's quite significant that we have to share it with the consumers, our customers. It's very important. We are not saying anything that is, because whenever we call for duties to come down, when we say that SM rate should stabilize and all that, we do not do it alone. They also support us to do that.
You made a point that the market forces would intervene and
definitely
and balance out things. But for that to happen, prices must obviously vary. I mean, so if Shop A has high prices and Shop B has lower prices, I'll go naturally to the Shop B with lower prices. Are you aware of members who have reduced prices directly as a result of the CD's strength?
And so we are in a consumer's market. We do not have the seller's market. When you go to Europe is the seller's market. That's why you go to a shop and then you see the prices fixed attached with a tax on it. And so you buy the goods and that's it. What is written on the price is what you buy. Here is a competitive market, and when you go to one sector, you see about 1,000 people trading in the same commodity line with different prices. Others might have gotten the price at a higher price, as they are saying, and legitimately so. They are challenged. But others might have also gotten it the rate that it is now. And they are all in the same market. The consumer goes and then set the market, make sure that he buys from the one who is selling at a cheaper price, and reward him and punish the one who is selling at a higher price.
So consumers must look for those traders who have reduced their prices, who have lower prices.
Yes, that has been the norm in this country. It's the consumer's market. We bargain for prices.
I get that, but because you're the president, give me a sense of this. Have you seen prices going down since last week when this became a thing, when we realized that the CD's gain is going to be sustained? Have you seen prices going down at all in the market?
Some people have adjusted positively and responded
to it. You see, that's why sometimes I want your team to go and find the prices before and now. So it's very important. It's true. There are some people who may not be able to adjust their prices, and that's why we are advising that they have to strike the reasonable averages so that they can stay afloat. Otherwise, they will be priced out of the market. Because so many people will also get it at a cheaper rate as we are experiencing now. But the key here is sustainability and predictability. If we are able to predict that this thing is going to be sustained, prices will just follow like anything. And so the natural course will take its place.
We're both in Kumasi and Accra, multiple markets, and the chorus was the same. Well, we cannot reduce prices just yet. Let me ask you. I mean, because you are the
let me say this thing.
Just a moment. Because you're the leader of Guta, and I know you're a trader yourself. Have you reduced your own prices at your shop?
Yeah. You see, I've told my people to go back and use. I have different rates that I use to make my prices, and so I've told them to go when we use the 14.5 for the pricing, and so that will average. That's what I'm talking about. So in this case, I won't go that low as it is now, but I'll go in between the 16 and then the 14, and that's prudence. You understand? And that's what I'm saying, that they should strike reasonable averages, and then they can still stay afloat, transfer some gains to the consumer. Because if we are able to make the consumer get a cheaper price, our turnover is going to go up.
Thank you very much, Dr. Joseph, for being a president of Guta, and he has a shop. He says he's currently reducing his prices, and you have to go out there and tell us if you've been in the markets today. I want to hear from you. Have you noticed any of the Guta members, any trader on the market reducing price as a result of the cedi's stability? Tell us. Send us a WhatsApp 05511119970 before George joins me with the latest on the world of business. Many of you have already joined us on the other stories you've heard so far from Top Story. I want to share a few with you. Please tell a jobless minority that Ghanaians have grown above their petty politics. They lack an iota of moral rights to comment on such issues. He's referring to the Sammy Gyamfi matter. This one, Nana Kwamano Painters Row says the same way they dealt with his leather past dollars must be dished out to Sammy too. And George from Malam says those armchair crybabies are having laughable press conferences again. And Musa Abattoir says, I completely agree with Adam Senanu. It's absolutely ridiculous to suggest that Sammy Gyamfi should be punished when he hasn't broken any law. This is a classic case of creating controversy where there is none. George is here with the latest from the world of business. And George, you have more on on the CD miracle.
And we're having some discussions of it, and basically there's talk about the fact that the trade deal between US and China could put some fresh pressure on the Ghana cedi in terms of revising or resting the recent gains. As Standard & Poor's is also warning that the good run might be ending from the second quarter of this year, and Talo Oil resumes gas supplies to our Trouble plant after a brief shutdown since Friday. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials, Synthesis tanks and Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh. page and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
M&C Group is a leading investment holding company with expertise in minerals and food commodity trading, precious minerals refinery, real estate development, and logistics and energy. With individually registered companies, our headquarters is located in Accra, Ghana, with operational offices in Dubai, UAE, Hong Kong and Guangzhou in China, Johannesburg in South Africa, Virginia in the USA, and Milan, Italy. We connect business markets and drive growth. Trust us to maximize value in every deal. Call us on 0302 551 917 or 0302 551 918 or send us an email mncgroup@mncgroupgh.com. MNC Group, totally reliant.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Brush your teeth every day and night, up and down and all around. Brush like feeling bright. Brush your teeth. Brush with mom and dad. Underneath and in between, brush the germs away.
Pepsodent, cavity protection.
This
advert is FDA approved.
Sasso, tonton preko. Sasso, tonton preko. Edrana drami nebu seshe. Yeah, hakesia ne malaria. Minya me pone me sasso spray. Every mosquito study run away. Tonton preko. Sasso, mi se kume tonton preko. Kume tonton preko. Sasso, kum tonton preko. Nani shamne die demonstronko.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, government says it is taking steps to encourage traders to reduce the prices of their goods on the market. The Trade Ministry is expected to meet executives of the Ghanaian Trade Association this Wednesday. That's part of its move to actually encourage them to reduce prices. Elizabeth Ofusu Ejare is Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. And she's been insisting that government is not in any way trying to determine prices of goods and services on the market.
We all know that in Ghana we don't control prices, and so government cannot really push price reduction on them. But because we work together, we can always discuss and see how the stable cedi will benefit both consumers and traders. And that is only fair, because there have been times that the dollar has gone up and traders have increased their prices. So if the dollar is this stable and has appreciated this much, I think that we need to regroup and see the way forward. I also commend Guta for even taking the step to prevail on the traders to reduce the cost of their goods.
Elizabeth Ofusojare is the Minister of Trade, Industry and Agribusiness. Now, there are projections that the Ghana cedi could come under some pressure in the coming months. Now, this was after the US reached a trade deal with China when it comes to the recent tariff war. Now, there is more in the following report.
One of the reasons for the cedi's strong recovery and even appreciation in recent times is the weakening of the US dollar. This is due to the fact that more businesses and countries were moving away from dollar-backed assets due to the current uncertainty. However, due to the deal that US had reached with China, when it comes to freezing the recent tariffs hikes, is accounting for the dollar-strong recovery today. The price of crude oil, which was getting into the $50 range earlier this month, is now trading around $64 a barrel. Gold prices have also started dropping. All these are due to the recent development between US and China as they reach some favorable trade deals. Standard & Poor's, in their latest report on Ghana, for instance, is also warning that the local currency could come under some pressure for the second quarter of this year.
And that is a Business Desk report. Meanwhile, finance professor at the Andrews University, Professor William Pepra, wants government to deal with some of the structural challenges to manage this potential challenge.
In Ghana, we still have our structural challenges. We have not turned our economy around. This high public debt is still hanging. We have not intensified our exports or to diversify our exports. So this limitation is going to play in the second half of the year. Until probably we're able to work on the external pressures, what we need, we may see a reverse where the cedi will start depreciate again. So these are the major elements that really limit Ghana to have a sustained exchange rate regime where we'll be able to sustain this kind of appreciation. If not, in the second half, if the government is not more disciplined, we may see the cedi devaluing. We may have to improve or diversify our export and do more exports.
Williams Prepra, then that's the Professor of Finance at the Andrews University, Professor Williams Prepra over there. Now, oil exploration firm Tullow has resumed supplies to the Atuabo gas processing plant in Takoradi in the western region. Now, Joy Business understands that Tullow actually resumed supply of the gas to the processing plant that was last night. But sources close to the gas processing plant in Atuabo say the pressure is yet to fully build up to aid processing at the end. The development should come as good news, especially when there were concerns that the shutdown could affect power production and supply in the country. Now, Ghana has outdoor this recreation and adventure landscape has gained another addition, the opening of Weabe Mega Supply and Adventure Park, a world-class forest amusement park in Ibre in the eastern region. The newest amusement park in Ghana is expected to provide environmentalists and ecotourists with the adequate platform to explore nature. Co-founder of the facility, Philip Yeboah, says this is a positive move for those who want to explore that sector.
In Weabe, what we have is an adventure park which is comparable to any you'll find anywhere in the world. We think and we hope others would learn and replicate what we've done. In so doing, give tourists a lot more options and help increase the tourist profile of Ghana. And then finally, it's an exciting day for environmental advocates and conservationists. In this park, we are what you could say living testimony to how, as a society, as people, we can live in harmony with the environment.
Co-founder of the Weabe Zipline Park, Philip Yeboah. That's all for Business on Newsnight. Back to you, Evans.
And Joel, thank you very much. We can do sports now, and Granting is here with the latest.
Ghana's Black Satellites have crashed out of the ongoing Under-20 AFCON after a 5-4 penalty shootout loss to host Egypt. Ghana fought back from 2 goals down, with Aziz Issa and Hakim Suleimana scoring the goals to force the game into extra time. Ghana were reduced to 10 men in extra time after Aaron Essel was sent off. Intri Da Costa missed the only penalty kick of the shootout, ending Ghana's hopes of a place at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Chile later this year. The loss extends Ghana's World Cup qualification drought to 10 years. Moving on, Real Madrid boss Carlo Ancelotti will leave the Spanish club at the end of the season to become the new national team coach of Brazil. The 65-year-old Italian will officially take charge of Brazil on 26th of May following the conclusion of the La Liga season. He leaves the Santiago Bernabeu as one of the most successful managers in the club's history. Ancelotti won 15 trophies across 2 spells as Real Madrid manager and led Real Madrid to a Champions League and a La Liga double last season. Brazil have not won the World Cup since 2002, and the last time they were Copa America champions was 6 years ago in 2019. Bring an end to sports. Back to you, Evans.
Cranton, thank you very much. So live your news 90s on Joy 99.7 FM. The Ashanti Regional Anti-Galamsey Task Force is expanding its efforts to protect cocoa farms from illegal mining activities. Cocoa farmers in rural areas have been complaining about the destruction caused by these miners, with some farmers reportedly selling their farms to them willingly, while others have been forcibly taking over. Nana Yaljima has been engaging interest groups in the cocoa and mining sectors and has filed this report.
According to the Ashanti Region Anti-Galamsey Task Force, complaints about the activities of illegal miners in cocoa growing areas are often received. National Security Liaison in Ashanti Region, Captain Retired John Kwame Jabari, speaks of plans to rescue the farmers.
Apart from them destroying the river body, a number of cocoa farms have been brought down by these menace. It is the citizens over there who come and give us the information that these people are destroying our cocoa farms.
CEO of Goldbod, Dr. Randy Abbey, has expressed interest in joining the cause.
Once we do that, we need to also put in place the necessary legal framework to back this.
Meanwhile, the concerned Small-Scale Miners Association wants the task force to stay within forceful takeovers. President Michael Kojo insists some cocoa farms were legally acquired for mining purposes.
Mining comes with distraction, and in so doing, if the person has his license, and even if it's a cocoa farm, and the farmers are willing to give it out, I think the law permits them to mine within that confirmed demarcated area.
My colleague Aljima filed that report. Uneasy calm has returned to the Ganyoko community in the Binduri district of the Upper East region following a wave of violent attacks that left more than 10 houses destroyed, burnt to ashes. The attacks, believed to be linked to the protracted chieftaincy conflict in the neighboring town Boku, have left residents in fear and uncertain. Initial reports indicate that more than 10 homes were torched by unknown assailants in the early hours of the week. Journey sources say a second wave of arson was carried out 3 days prior, increasing the number of destroyed structures to over 20. Now, although no fatalities have yet been reported officially, confirmed, several residents have been displaced, and local authorities say the full extent of the damage is still being assessed. I want to bring in right now our Upper East regional correspondent, Albert Sorry, who has been following the developments there and joins us right now with the very latest. What can you report tonight, Albert?
Yes, Evans, everything has been calm since all of this started. There haven't been any further disturbances in the last 24 hours. But the security agencies tell us that they are still investigating this incident. What we know is that the houses that were burnt were not being occupied. The residents in that area in Gumwoko had relocated to other places for their own safety because in the last 1 month or so, they had become targets of attack. And so the assailants took advantage of the situation to burn down the house.
As we speak tonight, have there been additional police, military deployed to the area? And from what we understand, calm has returned, but it's only uneasy.
Yes, the military barracks is located in Bazua, which is also in the Binduri district. It's not too far away from this area. There are a lot of patrols by military and by police also going around. What many don't understand is how this incident was able to take place without the security agencies getting wind of it. But it also happened at a time that it was curfew hours. And so it's the part of it that is still being uncovered. But as we speak, there is security presence on the ground.
Albert, thank you very much. We're hearing from the Inspector General of Police now, Christian Tetayon, who says steps have been taken to de-escalate tensions in Binduri.
military police and all other securities, they are very happy for your intervention. But what we want to tell you as CEOs is that the normal policing duties have been withdrawn. Only the operational teams that are there, because they appear vulnerable that they could be attacked at their various homes. So we ask that all those with families will go back to other regions to be deployed, so that we enable an operational ground. And that is what we are doing to grab the military till now. One particular area has been doing, which is we are working together with the national security so that we can look at the best way to reduce the hotness about the doing.
And that's it for News Night tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening.